Hey everybody, it's Dan, and you'll have to excuse me for the kind of garbage quality of this particular video, but it is either really late or really early, depending on whether you are an optimist or a pessimist. And yeah, my phone was dying, so I had to plug it in, and I just realized that I hadn't made my video for the day. So, this one is continuing our exploration of the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street films, with the next one in the series chronologically, which would be Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Now, not really sure why they call it The New Blood. I can only assume that it's just, a whole bunch of new blood being shed by Jason because he kills a bunch of people in it, like he always does. I really don't know. But anyway, um, this one, like I said in one of the previous videos, they try a lot of new things with all of the later Friday the 13th films, and some of them are successful and some of them are not. In this particular case, I think it was pretty successful. This one is really one of the better ones in the series, and the idea that they came up with this time was to pit Jason up against someone with, some sort of amazing powers and abilities. So, of course, we have a young girl, well, not really young, but, a teenage female who has psychic abilities and can move things with her mind and that sort of thing. And it's an interesting idea. I mean, you got to figure Jason is pretty much, an unstoppable, unkillable death machine. He's literally, he's the Walking Dead. You can't kill him. Can't even kill him in the conventional, George Romero way that you would kill the Walking Dead. Not going to work. So people got to find other ways, and the way that they thought, hey, maybe this would be unique this time around, is they figured they would go ahead and just have someone with psychic abilities and telekinesis fight him, which could potentially work. But anyway, the premise of the story is as follows. Um, Jason, after the last film, is stuck down beneath the waters of Camp Crystal Lake. Well, rewind about maybe a decade or so, and there's a young girl whose father is abusive and a drunk, and she runs out of the house screaming, and she happens to live in the vicinity of Crystal Lake. It's, right in her backyard. Um, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe just, living on the other side of the lake or something. Jason never got around to heading over there. I don't know. But anyway, she lives over there, and, her dad's abusive. Her dad was, drunk and must have attempted to hit her or something, so she runs outside, runs to the lake, and her dad, goes out there and is yelling at her mom and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden he walks out onto this deck, and she screams at him to leave her mother alone and leave her alone and everything. And of course, her latent telekinetic abilities kick in right at that moment and end up sending her dad down to the bottom of the lake and dropping a bunch of stuff on top of him and killing him. So he's just stuck down at the bottom of the lake. They apparently never retrieved the body, and 10 years later, now Jason is down there too. And this gal and her mother live somewhere else, and she sees a doctor, a psychiatrist about her, issues that she has with, potentially having killed her own father. And, well, I mean, she did kill her own father, whether it was, an accident or not is irrelevant. She's upset about it. And so she's seeing him, but he's less concerned with trying to help her out than he is trying to, get her to exhibit her psychic abilities on video so that he can prove it to the world and he can, write a book and make, a fortune. That's his only real concern. Well, she gets angry because they end up going back to the old house that, they had lived in before, and he's pulling all this garbage on her, trying to, record her moving things with her mind and have, conclusive evidence of this. And she goes outside angry that he's trying to, just say mean things and get her angry and riled up so that she'll use this ability. And she ends up going out to the lake, thinking about her father, and of course, unconsciously ends up breaking the chains that are holding Jason down under the lake, and Jason comes back up and just begins yet another one of Jason's popular murder rampages. And of course, the house right next door has a bunch of, young teenagers who just happen to come and visit for the weekend or whatever, and so they all get slaughtered. And there's a couple of great scenes of, some axes right to the face, just bam, and just, mass slaughter. It's good stuff, but, ultimately, this gal with the psychic talent is the heroine of the story and ends up, coaxing Jason back to the lake, where she calls on the dead body of her father to rise up and grab him and pull him back down. Chain him back up and everything and keep him there. So ultimately, her conjuring of her dead father is the thing that ultimately saves the day. Now, there's one thing in particular that I want to highlight with this particular film, and that is the just absolutely amazing work that they did on Kane Hodder, who plays Jason in the film. Kane Hodder, however you pronounce it. Big dude. He's a stuntman, so he's all about just getting down and dirty, doing his own stunts. It doesn't matter, and he's tough. He's a big dude, and he was playing Jason throughout the film. Not only did they do a great job on his outfit and showing underneath it Jason's rotten, bloated skin, but there's a point where the gal uses her telekinesis to just tighten the mask around Jason's face to the point where the mask just like breaks apart and rips off of his face. Now, the makeup on the face, showing Jason's face for a good long while, is amazing. It does such a great job with the makeup in this episode, in this film. Just blew my mind. Really great. Even if you're not really interested in the film as a whole while you're checking it out, at least stick it out so that you can see that, knockdown, drag-out fight between this telekinetic girl and Jason, so that you can see this makeup, because it's phenomenal. All, just rotted corpse and bloated, nasty skin, missing his lips from being down, under the water and having fish, peck at him and everything for so long. Oh, it's just great. So yeah, definitely worth checking out just for that alone. Now, unfortunately, as I said, there are some ideas that they came up with for the later ones that are great, and some ideas that they came up with for the later ones that are just plain awful. And we're going to have to deal with one of the latter on the next video, because, yeah, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. That's a thing that happened, and we're going to go over it tomorrow. So you guys have a great one, and I will see you back here for that.